All right, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Trightmare, and I am a partnered broadcaster on Twitch.tv. I am also a member of the largest stream team on Twitch.tv called Team 2G. And Team 2G is known for the namesake Trick 2G. Has anyone heard of the name Trick 2G? Anybody? League of Legends personality? That's fine. He is ranked on Twitch as the number 10th largest broadcaster, and he is a great person who has a nice community of about 40 other broadcasters, such as myself, who are entertaining, interactive, and community-driven folks. So if you're ever looking for a good broadcaster to watch on Twitch.tv, I'd highly recommend Team 2G, because we will notice you. These senpais will notice you. Anyway, I just explained who I am, and let's talk a little bit about what this is intended for, or whom this is intended for. I am looking for folks who are interested in starting up a Twitch channel and are interested in the particulars on how to do so.
What if we already started up one?
That's good, because you might find some points for improvement. Wisdom comes from the strangest places, including a talking cat on stage. So I've heard. Anyone else thinking about starting a channel?
I have one.
You have one. Good.
I barely use it. But...
And you're thinking about starting a channel?
Yeah.
What has stopped you from starting a channel?
Bad computers.
Fair enough. How about you back there?
I Twitch occasionally. I mean, I stream occasionally,
Okay.
but I've never really done it like on the regular, I guess.
Understood. Perfect. Yes, we'll talk all about that. So let's talk a little bit about, oh, sir, sorry.
I was going to say pour upstream.
Pour upstream. That's a really common one. You need probably 5 up to stream, just about. But you can get away.
3.
You got 3? That's good. So you probably broadcast at 2 kbps up, 2,000 kbps up.
It's actually a little higher. It's like 24, 25.
Hey, that's good. That's fine. All right, cool. That sounds great. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate that feedback. So let's talk a little bit about the story of how I began streaming and why I began streaming, because we'll be thinking about the same thing for you. Why do you want to start? What are you going to do when you start? So the reason that I started streaming is because I went through a very tough time in my life. I was depressed, I was putting on weight, and I had just went through a breakup that was very, very tough on me. Essentially, the breakup caused the standard living situation that I had been used to for previous years. It got demolished in days. And I really didn't know what to do with myself. Also, I no longer live in the Detroit metro area. Though I am a native, I found myself living in a state where I did not have any friends, particularly. That's partially true. Temporarily. There was a window of time when some of my friends here lived down there with me. But as that window passed, I really got into streaming, and I got into streaming hard. And I was motivated by my 4 senpais, and I was healed by their broadcast. So all of this depression, all of this sadness was lifted by watching streams. And I realized streams have a healing property to them. If you're ever having a bad day or something just hasn't gone right, if you spend some time with like-minded people, people who know who you are and appreciate your presence, such as a broadcaster, it can lift your spirits. It can make you feel better. And that's exactly what it did with me. And that is why I decided to take up the mantle and become a broadcaster myself, to try to put an all-inclusive community where people, when they're having a very bad day, can come, laugh, or cry together, depending. I have cried on stream a couple of times. Sometimes at the end of games, or sometimes just because you're sympathizing so much with the people in your broadcast. And you'll find, as you build your own communities, that you get very, very integrated into them. And the connections that you make with these people are very, very real. And that's why I highly encourage each and every one of you to begin broadcasting tomorrow. Tomorrow, 8-hour stream, go. Yes.
How about Monday?
Monday is
Because
fine.
we're not going to be here on Monday.
That works for me. So let me talk about before I started. So before I started, I was scared. I didn't know if I was going to be good. People are not generally nice to those who aren't good at things. People will make fun of you. It is the internet. They will find you and they will hate on you. So it was kind of scary for me, particularly because I decided to have a very strange show. Every broadcast I wear a kigurumi, and I wear a different one to try to keep it fresh. I also dance to anime music. Most of Twitch is heterosexual males, so they hate that. They hate it a lot. They've told me. I'm an expert in the matter. So I want to talk about what I did before I started streaming. So what I did is I went and watched a bunch of YouTube videos from already established broadcasters. So it's kind of nice that you're getting some secondhand wisdom out of the deal, so to speak. And so I watched YouTube videos that had really high views from super, super popular streamers. And I took the best of all their advice, and I've used it, and I wrote it down, keep it next to my computer, and every time that I broadcast, I take a look at it. And the piece of paper itself is not leaving its holy place, so I have a transcription of it. And I will read you the 5 points that I gathered from these very, very popular YouTubers and streamers. Number 1, persistence is key. If you do not have a schedule, in my opinion, you are not a streamer. You are someone who occasionally will broadcast. A streamer has a schedule, and they are consistent. It's a show. If you expect a television show to come on, you expect that television show to come on at a certain frequency, and you set time aside in your life to watch that show. And without that consistency, without that regularity, without that dependability, you're not really a streamer. You're streaming, but are you a streamer? Question. All right, so number 2, you must be involved in your community. You absolutely have to. You have to know the people who frequent your stream because they are spending valuable time in their lives with you. They could be working on a hobby, doing things to pursue their passions, but they're here with you. You've got their undivided attention. Make it worth their time. Absolutely. You must be connected to your community. Know what they do, know how their day is going, and know what games they like to watch, because that's what you're going to try to do, is play games they like. Another one, this is one that's not very common among all the YouTube videos I watched prior to beginning streaming. This one was very uncommon, but one that I thought worked. Act like somebody, and you will be treated like somebody. I have not changed the way I've behaved since I've had 0 followers. And I try to act as professionally as possible, and I try to treat my audience as professionally as possible, and take my stream very, very seriously. And if you act like someone, people assume you are someone, and they don't know the difference. It's interesting, but it helps build your audience. Number 4, network. It is who you know. I personally recommend, and have had success, joining a stream team. That is a conglomeration of like-minded broadcasters, all hoping to represent a cohesive brand. I myself am a member of Team 2G, the largest broadcasting team, as I've said before, with over 3,750,000 unique followers between us. It's pretty good. We were over 4, but things got a little messy. And the number 5 tip is create what you love for yourself. So let's say I enjoy watching Lethal Frag, one of my personal favorite broadcasters, and this year he just got recently inducted into the Twitch Hall of Fame. Go Lethal Frag. Do you know why he got inducted into the Twitch Hall of Fame? Because he did something called the 2-year challenge. He streamed every day for a minimum of 4 hours for 2 years. And he actually beat his minimum every day of those 2 years, if I'm not mistaken, even when he was sick. He just quit his job one day, working as a chef in a kitchen, and decided this is what he wanted to do. And he has been the first to be inducted into the Twitch Hall of Fame because of the invention and completion of the 2-year challenge. Excellent guy. So when I was thinking about starting my broadcast, I looked to Lethal Frag. When you first start drawing, you always trace the great artists, or you always try to emulate the greats before you can really build your own style. And that's very much true for broadcasting too. So if you have a favorite streamer out there, there's no harm or foul in trying to be like them in certain ways. And it's very interesting when people copy wholesale off of others. it becomes interesting because you draw the attention of the originator over some certain period of time. And it can either be a positive reflection or a negative reflection. It's actually, I've seen it a toss-up of both. It's kind of nice. I've seen someone who jocked off of Cowsep. Does anybody know who Cowsep is? And Cowsep actually reached out to the guy and was like, hey man, I see what you're doing, but it's okay. And if you ever need anything from me, I'm right here. And that was like the most professional thing that I think I've ever seen from another streamer. Because that was wholesale copying of art, materials, and all sorts of other things. So kudos to Cowsep, super good man. So I had that as a picture. I took a picture of the paper, and now I'm switching back to our agenda for the day. So let's talk about reasons to begin streaming, because it's fun. So, if you just want to stream a little bit here and there because it's fun, hell yeah, do that, please. You're building the platform, you're learning. Before I started my channel that I have today, I actually had another channel that I used to just stream for fun to learn how to do it. Because I was like, oh no, I don't want to be bad and then people will always remember me when I was really bad. So I started some channel off to the side and ended up with almost 1,000 followers very quickly, and I was like, wait, hold the phone. We should make a real channel and be professional about this. And if that happens with you, definitely follow suit. There's no harm or foul in doing it just for fun. You can also want to grow a community of your own. If you don't have a whole lot of friends in your particular area, you're ever feeling lonely, feel like people just don't get you, Twitch is a great place for that. Unlike YouTube comments, the chat's not nearly as toxic and the community's very, very supportive, especially broadcasters. If you give me your card, I will host you. I promise. Yay! So tell me what your Twitch channel is and I'll toss you a host sometime. And all of a sudden, when you're broadcasting, you will have more people than you had previously. And I'll make sure they follow you because they love me, right? Right? So, I also want to talk about demonstrating your skill in a game. If you are particularly skilled in a game, boy, Twitch needs you. Because the communities around very skilled players grow very quickly. And if you see speedrunning, if any of you guys are into or have heard of speedrunning, the speedrunning community on Twitch is excellent. With Awesome Games Done Quick Summer and Winter Edition for charity, some of the most followed streams on Twitch. Also, if you're into charity, Extra Life is coming up in November. 24-hour broadcast for the kids, #for the kids. I highly recommend it. So that's maybe a first good broadcast, or a good first broadcast for you, I should say. But I want to assure you that when you begin your channel, when you've decided it's time, I want you to have goals in mind. People are more successful when they have goals, and people are more successful when they have SMART goals. It's an acronym. Ready? I'm going to drop some knowledge on you. So let's talk about setting goals. SMART, the first letter in the acronym S, specific. Specific goals. How will you evaluate if you're on track or not if you don't have a specific goal in mind? Usually for Twitch, it's follow count. People usually try to do follow count. People pay attention to follow count a lot when they look at you as a broadcaster, but really concurrent viewership is a more important number. We can talk about that in private because it's a long conversation. But people will judge you on your follows. And why not set a goal like that? So talking about specific numbers, my personal specific goal, the first year that I started streaming, was to get 10 followers a day. That's a measurable one. That's another letter in the acronym. We'll get to that later. But 10 followers a day, and at the end of the year, I'd have 3,650. I ended up with 12,000. So I have exceeded my goal. I feel good because I've had the goal and I exceeded it. And every day that I got 10 followers, the little increments, because think about it as a daily task. You want to be rewarded for your daily tasks. Every time I got 10 followers, I felt pretty damn good. So just think about that. You want it to be specific. You want it to be measurable. That's another one. Measurable. By using the specific numbers, you can make that measurable. The daily task in conglomeration with the overall task showed me every day that I ended my broadcast how far along to my major goal I was. So I felt good or bad depending on the day, but mostly good, as you can see. And so, and if you're not reaching those goals, you want to evaluate why. You also want to make them achievable. You want it to be challenging. Maybe I can do this, but not like sky high. I want to get 1 million followers in 1 year, in 1 minute. No, that won't happen, sorry. But make sure it's achievable and it's relevant to your goal. Remember, we were just talking about goals. Maybe you're doing it for fun. So if your goal is to broadcast for fun, then follow count doesn't make sense as a goal for you because you just want to have fun. Maybe it's to have a 24-hour marathon where you play your favorite games. That'd be fun, right? See, now we're thinking. But there is also a time frame. Please also set a time frame for your goals. And if you have reached that time frame, my initial time frame was a year, but I also had daily sub goals. If you reach that goal and you haven't achieved it, don't be discouraged. Just think about why. Reevaluate what you're doing and try to make changes. I was very antsy, and every day that I didn't hit my 10 follower goal, I was like, change must occur. That's wrong. Don't do that, please. It sets you back days, and it shocks your audience. It really, really does. But set a time frame. So what do I need to get started? What do I need, technically speaking, to get started? So there is OBS, Open Broadcasting Software. That is a free to download software that you can use to broadcast to Twitch, which is the streaming service. So you stream to Twitch, and Twitch sends it out to the many viewers. If you have any viewers. At first you won't, but it's okay, I promise. And so OBS allows you to take the video from your computer, send it over the wide web, over to Twitch, and they hand that out to anyone who's interested in watching. So OBS, step 1. I guess really step 1 is a computer, but I'm assuming you all have a computer by now. Another question is, can I use a laptop to stream? Yes, you can. If you absolutely hate that piece of equipment and want it to die years sooner than it would typically. Just saying. Or if it's a junker. But also that's going to hurt your quality of the broadcast, so really think about that. But why I'm saying that it will ruin your laptop is because laptops do not deal with heat well at all. And when you're broadcasting, you're doing this thing called live encoding. And encoding wants to, and you limit it from doing this, but it wants to take 100% of your CPU up to send nice video out to the rest of the internet. Well, if 100% of your CPU is used, you can't play games. So now we see the disparate battle that is broadcasting on your computer. So do not use a laptop, it will kill it. Do I use a capture card? And as you can tell, these are very common questions that are posed to me by chat quite often. Do I need a capture card? You only do if you're planning on streaming console content. And that is non-PlayStation console content, because PlayStation now has integrated streaming. Go PlayStation! They have Twitch built right in. There's a button on the controller that says broadcast. You press it and it goes live. That's pretty cool, I thought. Xbox might catch up to that in the next iteration, but who knows when that will be, unless there's a release date. But I highly, highly encourage a capture card if you're going to stream console content. So the kind of capture card that you can get, there's 2 kinds. I'm giving you a lot of details because I want to answer these questions completely. You can have an internal capture card, meaning it is inside of your computer. It's a little chippy doodle, and you take the chippy doodle and you plug it into your PC, and it resides inside your PC. And you plug HDMI cables into it or what have you, and that's how that video is processed. It's going to take the output from your console, take it to your computer, feed it to OBS, send it to Twitch, and all your happy viewers can watch. I only recommend internal capture cards. External capture cards are certainly cheaper. However, they're more of a pain to set up frequently. I would find Elgato is a very common brand. If you're using an Elgato external capture card, you have to set your time delay on OBS to be like 10 to 15 seconds because the audio comes through faster than OBS processes. So you have to put a delay on the audio on your Elgato to keep it in sync. And every time you open up OBS or restart your computer, it resets. Wah, wah. So you're going to be doing a lot of maintenance that's unnecessary. And if you're going live, nothing feels worse than going live and stumbling out of the gate. Like, hey guys, I'm live, and my audio's off. Okay, hold on, let me just restart stream. Really steals your thunder. So I'm just encouraging internal capture cards. If you want a recommendation, the AverMedia Live Gamer HD, also known as the AverMedia 985C, is in cat, like Elgato, but not. Anyway. So let's talk about computer hardware. Here's a really good one. So I've got a gaming computer. How about I do a 2 PC streaming setup? No, don't do it. I went down that path and it's just not good. Because when you're not a partner of Twitch.tv, you can't really control the quality of people's broadcast watching you. You don't get this thing called transcoding. And transcoding takes a big fat signal and it puts it in high, medium, low, mobile. You've seen that on YouTube. You've even seen it on Twitch, because Twitch has transcoding too. So when you first start broadcasting, the majority of Twitch viewership, they watch mobily. That means like I could bring up a stream right now and watch it if I wanted to. And I do that quite often. So keeping in mind the majority of Twitch viewership is mobile, you gotta wait till transcoding to unleash the beast, so to speak. So someone's like, I have to spend $5,000 on a brand new gaming computer just to stream. Nope. You certainly can stream on a laptop, though you shouldn't. But any low to mid-range gaming computer these days, just fine. Just fine. So you don't, my recommendation is to not spend any money until you're making money from your broadcasts, and then use that to pay for your equipment. I also don't agree with taking tips very early in your broadcasting career either, but that's another conversation. Here's another common question that comes up from the viewership. Do I need an expensive mic or headset? Yes and no. Just expensive enough to sound okay. That's all. That's about $50 to $60. So don't invest. Don't invest, please. Because when you first start broadcasting, you're not going to have any viewers for months. You're going to be talking to yourself. And I hope you're very good at that. It's also good to have friends like these guys who right there, they're waving their hands. They stayed in my channel a hell of a lot when I first started broadcasting. And I could talk to them. Hey, how was your day? Blah, blah, blah. And so I'm not alone. And then when other people come in, they're like, oh, hey, there's someone here. Hello, other person here. And then your community starts. It's like the Big Bang. It's glorious. Truth be told. All right, so that's good. We've covered hardware. That's very, very common. What do I need to start streaming? I'll recap. Low to mid-range computer, mid-range microphone, OBS broadcasting software. Another question, do I need a webcam? It just so happens the most popular streamer on Twitch doesn't use a webcam. So I'm gonna say, no you don't. It helps, because people seeing the reaction on your face is certainly entertaining in its own right. But by no means is it necessary. And if you do get a webcam, Logitech 920. Yeah, Logitech 920, good webcam. So let's talk about what games to play. Hey man, I play World of Warcraft a lot, I should just stream it. Depends on your goal. If you stream World of Warcraft, you're gonna get buried. Everybody plays World of Warcraft, and everybody certainly tries to stream it. If you look at the World of Warcraft gaming channel, like the streamers, there are actually just as many people streaming it as there are watching it. That's not a good game. Depending on your goal, if your goal is fun and you have fun playing World of Warcraft, nailed it, done deal, stream it all day and all night, forever. But if your goal is to get some sort of cumulative viewership, absolutely the worst choice. You get what I call is buried. You get buried. So there's all sorts of other broadcasters out there. And you might have a concurrent viewership of 7 people. Well, it just so happens that 50 other streamers have 7 people watching them in the World of Warcraft channel. How do you stand out? You don't. You get buried. Wah, wah. And Twitch is organized in a fashion where the most viewership and highest viewership streamers, they're shown first. So if I just want to watch World of Warcraft, I want to watch probably someone reputable. So I click the first broadcast because I think they're reputable. They have 10,000 people watching them. They got to be doing something. Whether that's true or not is yet to be determined. But you absolutely will be buried. and you're fighting those 10,000 viewership people because you're way low in the stack, and people have to scroll all the way down to find you, and they certainly commonly do not scroll down past the third. Sad. What you can do to remedy that situation, if your goal is numbers, you can broadcast in a game that has a healthy number of broadcasters and a whole lot of viewership. So you want a good number of broadcasters, but more viewers in that channel. Would you mind if I field your question just a little bit later?
It's about Warcraft.
Bring it up.
Like, right now there are 82 people streaming World of Warcraft.
82?
The top viewed channel has 1,127 viewers.
1,000?
Yes.
That's typically low, and I blame Overwatch's release. Overwatch has made a very big splash, and a lot of typical Blizzard streamers are streaming that for the beta. Particularly a lot of really big streamers. So actually, now is a smart time to broadcast World of Warcraft, because there's fewer broadcasters. But see,
Of course, by the time this video goes out.
I will use this as a very good point. It's very easy to make broad, sweeping generalizations about Twitch and seem like you're correct. But truth be told, it's a living ecosystem that changes every day. And if you're not keeping up with the ecosystem, your community is also going to get left behind. And there's nothing wrong with that, technically, because you're all having fun together. But if your goal is to grow, you have to be cognizant of these things. So it's just your goal, just depending. So yeah, we talked about what games to play. It's somewhat goal dependent, and you want to be very aware of the community that you're getting in. So here's another point. Here's a counterpoint to my previous argument. My previous argument was, do not broadcast in a flooded channel. You will get buried. Here's another thing you can do. Broadcast all you want in that flooded channel because you love the game and you have fun, and when you're having fun, your audience has fun. And then network with bigger streamers. Win-win. You can do that. Especially in League of Legends or other things like that where the community's super tight-knit. At the higher levels, go to a convention. We're all at a convention. And talk to a broadcaster who broadcasts that particular thing. There are broadcasters here. I was handing out cards to try to get people to come in here, and I accidentally bumped into the streamer who streams on the Funimation Twitch channel, which is huge. So, hey, I just made a connection, and I wasn't even trying. So you're already doing something right. You're out and about, you're networking. Or you should think about that. So that's another way to go about it, as a counter to my previous argument. Because making broad generalizations about Twitch doesn't work. It's too organic. Let's talk about when to stream. And I've said this before, you absolutely must have a schedule. In my opinion, you may stream if you don't have a schedule. But in my opinion, you are not a streamer. Streamer holds that schedule. So as I mentioned before, it gives reliability, it shows your intent and how serious you are, and it shows your audience that you're going to be there for them when they need you. And they'll start relying on you and depending on you. I can't tell you how many times when I only had 10 viewers, most of the time, they were already chatting before I was live. That's a good sign. You don't need a whole heaping helping of concurrent viewership to have a community. And it means something to them. Your community is small, love it. Love it and keep doing it, damn it, please, because they need you. And it's such a reciprocation of positive vibes. I need my broadcast right now. I'm having a really crappy time, and I'll tell you, I need my community, and they're there for me. And that's really nice to have that reciprocation. So it's a nice friendship. It's really great. But yes, so let's talk about time zones. That's a fun one. So right now, I face a struggle. I myself broadcast at an unoptimal time. So I broadcast starting at 8 o'clock Central Standard Time, which is 9 o'clock Eastern Time here. Which, depending on who you are, means a series of different things. If I'm a high schooler, it's time for me to do tomorrow's homework if it's a weekday. On the weekend, go crazy. No, seriously, stream as many hours as you possibly can on the weekend. All weekend, if you have them open. Because it's perfect for all time zones. But on the weekdays, which the majority of us are going to be streaming, got to pay attention to those time zones. So I come on at 9 o'clock when most of my audience is 14 to 25. So I actually come on at a super suboptimal time because everyone needs to do their homework for the next day. So needless to say, I feel like crap every weekday because I'm like, nobody's watching me, I'm not doing great. But really, they're just busy, and that's okay. That's perfectly fine. Be cognizant of these things, be respectful of these things, but also plan around these things. I'm considering scheduling. Not changing anything, but I'm considering it because I'm making these observations. Europe is a huge audience for Twitch. Be cognizant of when the high school kids come home in Europe. It's a super great time to stream Dota 2, which is very big in Europe. League of Legends is pretty great too. So if you're a mobile player, be very cognizant of when European kids come home from school, because that's when you want to stream MOBAs. And then you'll already be live when the United States kids get home. See? Just be cognizant of time zones, plan around the world, because it's a worldwide platform and you need to use that to your advantage. Let's talk also about how to promote yourself, which is a very big deal. I am here promoting myself, and I highly encourage that once you get to a certain level with your broadcast and you live it and you learn it, to share the knowledge with as many people as you possibly can, and to share it publicly and in person, and not just put up a YouTube video, like I am also guilty of doing, on the internet explaining these things, but to also reach out to people who are doing what you do, because they're the people who can help you. No matter how big or how small, somebody can help you understand or get bigger or improve. And if you're not focusing on improving every day, then I don't know, even if it's just for fun, you want to be good at what you do for fun. You're spending your time. But yeah, so social media is a real basic one. Oh my God, another guy talking about social media. Well, yeah, unfortunately. I find social media is not best for engaging a new audience, as I've tried that. So here's the thing. There's a thing out there called Tweepy, Tweepi, and it's used to find and follow mass amounts of people on Twitter. I thought this would help me. I said, I stream like Lethal Frag streams. We have similarity. We have good enunciation, we play indie games. Heck, I even have a beard. Look at me, I'm Lethal Frag Jr. over here. So in my mind, of course, anyone who loves Lethal Frag is gonna love me. So what did I do? I follow literally all of Lethal Frag's Twitter followers. Using Tweepy, made it easy. But I'll tell you, I got nothing out of it. I got maybe one viewer that comes in partially out of, we're talking about tens of thousands of people. Maybe that strategy isn't the best. Maybe I shouldn't have chose Lethal Frag's audience. But I sank a significant amount of time into following all those people with little to no return. Lesson learned, and now you don't have to waste your time. But social media, the way I've found it to be most effective, is to announce when you're live. People aren't going to know when you're live. You're going to say, hey guys, I'm live 8 to midnight every weekday. And they're going to be like, all right, he was live sometime during the week because I'm a high school kid and I have a test tomorrow, or I'm an adult and my job stresses me out. I don't have time to memorize your crappy schedule, you dummy. Just make me laugh. So really, the most effective thing that I found is to announce when you're live or when an event is coming up. And then the already engaged portion of your community is participating. And when it's not stream time, they see your name, they think about it, they remember later in the evening to show up. Just some food for thought. Social media is really dry to me. Whenever I hear people say social media about anything, you gotta capitalize on social media, I go, ugh, that's so trite. Pun intended. So, here's a good one, and an unexpected one. Join a stream team. There are so many of them out there, and they can help you. There is likely someone who's running that stream team who is already a successful streamer. They're looking for talent to grow their brand. You could be that talent, dare I say. And so you should familiarize yourself with stream teams. Of course, I myself personally am on Team 2G. There's also the Arcade. There's Elohim's Vikings. There's the Hammer Squad. There's Main Menu. There are a ton of stream teams out there that are very cohesive brands. Oh yeah, like Nerd Fusion. Nerd Fusion is the most cohesive brand I've ever seen in anything. And at a convention, I had the privilege of talking to one of the members of that team. I will let them go unnamed. But I was like, how did you get your brand so cohesive? And they said, oh, you know Razer hardware? We just hired them. There's a marketing team that does Razer hardware, you know, with the snakes and green everything and awesome computer hardware. Well, yeah, they just went out and looked at who that was and hired that marketing team. Simple, but effective. Hey, but you also need a budget. Let that go. Don't let that go unsaid. Have an active YouTube. Somebody said, like, why are you doing YouTube content if you're a Twitch streamer? I'm gonna be honest with you. At the peak of Twitch these days, it's about 1 million concurrent viewers. Any given time on YouTube, there is more than that. Twitch is still growing. They're not an underdog. It's a different medium. Don't judge them. Hey man, don't judge them. But definitely it would be very, very silly for you to overlook such a large untapped market. Not to mention, you're already broadcasting content. That means it has to be encoded. Encoding means it pretty much might as well just be recorded too. Because, you know, if you use your Adobe Premiere, your Sony Vegas, you're encoding video. So if you're doing all the work of encoding video, you might as well save it on a hard drive and then upload it to YouTube later.
OBS has an option for that too.
Correct. Nailed it. It certainly does. And I would highly encourage you guys to take advantage of that. All right. And promote videos on Reddit. I know at least 5 broadcasters who have ended up becoming very, very successful by getting famous by a video on Reddit getting uploaded. So, does anybody know Maximus Black? Anybody know Maximus Black? He had an epic front page video on Reddit in the League of Legends subreddit. And what happened was, he has this thing called teabagging, where if he gets really, really pissed off and somebody in-game is just raging and being toxic, he writes their name down on a sheet of paper, he gets up on his computer chair and takes an actual teabag, puts it where his balls go, and teabags the name. If you haven't followed Maximus Black, follow him. He's one of my stream senpais, so is Lethal Frag. Shameless plugs. Anyway, please and certainly give both of those people a follow. But Lethal Frag's concurrent viewership jumped so high from just the teabagging video alone that he was able to go full time. So he was just working and streaming in his free time, trying to go full time. In one Reddit video, he's like, all right, I quit my job, peace out. And now he has like 2 houses. So, you know, the decision's really up to you whether you want to use Reddit or not. But that's about it. And the final option that I wanted to talk about was when to begin. And we've already established this. You will start tomorrow.
Monday.
Monday.
Yeah, let's enjoy Con first.
Yeah, I guess. You can enjoy Yumacon, I suppose. But aside from that, I really don't have any other wisdom to drop on you that is in the 101 section of how to Twitch stream. I would certainly enjoy taking questions. Ooh. Oh, this guy's got one. Hey.
Hey,
What's your name?
Phil.
Hello, Phil. What is your question?
So, you had said that you went down the route of trying to stream from 2 computers.
Ah.
Would you ever recommend using a server and offloading graphics onto that server?
This man knows my struggles too well. I will tell you this story. So when I started to before I even started broadcasting, I was like, I had a mentality. My mentality was, I'm an IT guy. These people are know-nothing plebs. I'm about to have the best broadcast on Twitch. How am I gonna do so, you might ask? By dropping $700 on a server on eBay that has 4 processors. I'm smart enough to know that the more processors you have, the better video you can have. Certainly, any fool knows that. But what you don't know is you're unleashing an avalanche of pain on your ass. So, needless to say, that server ended up in this guy's basement because it certainly wasn't good. There are several reasons why it wasn't good. You need server operating system to unlock all those cores. Wah, wah. I installed an acquired version of an operating system and noticed that, well, there's only 2 processors showing up. What the heck is up with that? I've got 4. I paid for all these. I want them. Yeah, you need to run the server operating environment to unlock all of that. And OBS doesn't even really work in that environment without a lot of tweaking and a whole bunch of other things. And it only has 1 USB port. Oh, I wanted to use add 2 USB ports. I want to use 2 webcams. Nope. Good luck. Isn't happening. And all sorts of other really nasty problems I uncovered by trying to use an actual server, like a rack mount unit. Oh, it's as noisy as a jet airplane. So if you're trying to broadcast with that computer in the same room as you, that doesn't work because all your audience is going to hear is just the fans going in it. So that's really unfortunate. And so I was like, oh, I'll just put it in the other room and run really long cords. Nah, that's not feasible either. You find out what the maximum distance of a cable is really fast, and also that, you know, that room is where you sleep. So it's tough. So I would not only say stay away from actual servers, stay away from them. Just a regular desktop computer will do. And a lot of people fall into the trap of using a 2 PC system. So you can play games on one computer. I'm playing games on this computer, and I'm using this separate computer via capture card to broadcast to OBS. This setup is very expensive. This setup is extremely expensive, and you gain nothing as a non-partnered broadcaster because you don't have transcoding. So your goal is to unleash the beast with this guy and then play games at max settings with this guy. Because if you're streaming from the same computer that you're playing games on, you can't broadcast with 100% on all the games. So you're going to be playing low quality of a particular game and broadcasting that. DayZ is a very good example. DayZ was a not well optimized game from the Arma 2 engine, and playing that at max quality while broadcasting would halt just about any modern computer as of like 6 months ago. Or it would chop real hard. So, you know, depends on the game and how optimized it is. But 2 PC setups, completely irrelevant. Only recently have I become partnered, and only recently have I been able to unleash the beast. So actually, my advice to people who are not partners, broadcast at the lowest quality humanly possible. Because they're watching on cell phones, man, and the reception in this building isn't so great. So you gotta make sure that your signal can get into a convention when someone wants to watch you nerd out on the internet. Or something. So yeah, no 2 PC setup. Sorry, he pressed my button. He knew it. He's got that. Is that server still in your basement?
It is.
Oh God.
That has traveled probably 1,200 miles.
Did you throw it?
I wish.
Okay, sorry. What other questions might the audience have? You, sir.
Optimizing screen space.
Optimizing screen space. Wow, that's a really good question. I myself, and my artist is right here next to the gentleman with the server, my artist has done a wonderful job doing my overlays. What games do you play?
Mainly indie stuff, but sometimes AAA titles.
Okay,
Whatever I'm interested in.
do you play Binding of Isaac?
I don't, but I've been told I should.
Oh, yeah. Binding of Isaac is unique. It has some black bars to either side where you can stick stuff. Let's take a look at Counter-Strike Global Offensive. I didn't know how to make an overlay for Counter-Strike Global Offensive until I looked at other broadcasters. And are you familiar with the rule of thirds? Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm sure. But so yeah, it's for those of you who do not know, it's dividing the screen into thirds. There's 3 vertical pillars and 3 horizontal pillars that makes a grid, a 9x9 grid. And so I have an overlay for every single one of those. It fixes the problem. Because when user interface designers in games are designing their game, they use the rule of thirds to figure out where they're going to put crap. So having, all the corners and the mids, middle right, middle left, middle top, middle bottom, all the corners, I've got overlays. So no matter what game I play, problem solved. Because if we're working with the rule of thirds, generally they leave one section of the screen untouched. and you can just stick your camera up there. That's my recommendation because it works really well for me. And I used to do the antithesis. I had like 1,000, I play a lot of random games, right? I had a scene for every game. So it's too many scenes because you'll be like, all right, we're gonna play Crash Bandicoot. Oh, I haven't played this in 6 months. Where's the scene for this? And then everyone's like, okay, I'm gonna go watch somebody else. So transitioning during a game, or transitioning from one game to another should be as rapid as possible. Copy my idea, please. Like, build the rule of thirds. All the corners and break the mids in half. Mid, left, right, top, bottom. Try that. That'll work for you. If you have an artist who cooperates, I highly suggest that as well. She's right there taking commissions. Just kidding. No, she's really full on time right now. I'm sorry. Doing my stuff. Yeah, but that's a good recommendation. But I noticed with Counter-Strike, they all put it in the same middle, left, third. I have no idea why that became common. League of Legends, they changed their user interface recently, and all League streamers had to up their stuff. Everyone's camera's in the lower left now. It used to be a hodgepodge, and it actually was commonly above the map on the middle right. But since the user interface changed, it's bottom left. Just interesting stuff, right? But great question. Did I answer it?
You did.
Okay, cool. What was the next question? Oh, hi.
What's your opinion on streaming with other people? Like,
I love that.
public streaming?
I love that. Just make sure they have push to talk on their microphone, so when they're talking to their audience, because you're like, oh, hey, Steve, how's it going? And some other guy's like, thank you for that $5 subscription. You know, like, no. I watch my stream. I'm watching my streamer because I want to hear his voice. And every time someone else's voice is in there, it's obtrusive, unless they're playing like Cards Against Humanity or something, right? So then you want to hear everyone and all the laughs. But my solution to that and my thought on that is push to talk, A-okay. Hodgepodge, whoa, I don't know what's going on or who's talking. Who is that? You'll get in your chat a lot. Who are you playing games with? Put it on the top of the screen. It works. And it usually helps to do it with another broadcaster. I know you have friends who want to play games with you, but really thinking about networking like we talked earlier, do a duo stream with another broadcaster for 2 reasons. One, they're not going to hog the mic. Because I notice sometimes when I play with some of my friends, they're like, I'm on a broadcast right now, I'm going to tell every funny joke I know and be slightly racist. And you're like, oh, great, Jesus, it's all coming out now. And so, yeah, think about who you're inviting onto your stream. Think about who you're inviting onto your stream. And then also think about, just limiting how much they're able to say and controlling the volume of it. Because it can sometimes be louder than you, and you don't want that. Did I answer your question? I went on a wild tangent.
That's fine.
I'm sorry. Did I answer it though?
Yeah.
All right, next. You?
Yeah, what editing software would you recommend for going from Twitch to YouTube?
Oh, I use Adobe Premiere, and there's now an Adobe subscription program that you can use to kind of subscribe to the Adobe software, and you can pick and choose, you can cherry pick, and it's a monthly installment instead of paying hundreds at a time, like it used to be. I highly recommend the Adobe Creative Cloud. Did that answer your question?
Yes.
Yeah. Vegas is pretty cheap too. I don't like Vegas personally. I don't know why. It's biased and stupid. Go with the cheap stuff. All right, so let's see. Vegas, Premiere, Final Cut, parentheses Pro, if you want that. Those are the 3 big ones. And is there anything free like Audacity for video? I'm just going to ask the audience. You know Audacity for audio? Go ahead.
Yeah.
Just voice.
Yeah, but like Audacity for video, there's got to be something out there, right?
No, it's not.
There's something called Shotcut. I haven't
Shotcut.
really used it that much, but it looks pretty cool.
All right, Shotcut. Cool. Try that as well. I highly recommend it. All right. Next question, please. Was it you? Did you have a question?
I can't remember it.
Oh no, I threw you off. Well, anyway. Yeah, like I said, come and see me after this is all over. I want to host your broadcasts because you're out and mixing it up.
Oh.
And you should be rewarded.
Will there be a link to your other places for people who just get linked this video randomly? Like in
how
the
do you mean?
description.
Like other people, these people's broadcasts? Yeah, I'll put your broadcast in the YouTube description. Give me a note, like I need it written down though, or tweet me. Tweet me, that's good too. Here's all my media, social media, and the actual broadcast. Here are my business cards. Please take one of those. Take many if you want to hand them out to your friends. Just kidding. That's shameless. But anyway, please come up and talk. Oh, you will!
Yeah.
Score. But anyway, thank you for coming to the How to Begin Your Twitch.tv channel. Quick question. Do you find this informative?
Yes, definitely.
Thank you. You've just made my night.
Is this your